If you're shopping around the internet, or you're looking into getting your first bird or thinking about adding to your existing flock, hold that thought. In the next few minutes I'm going to show you exactly how to avoid becoming victim to online pet bird scammers. What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel where I help you with Finch info tips and tricks. Online fraud is a huge issue nowadays. There are even law firms now who specialise in helping victims of online fraud reclaim the money that they've lost at the hands of scammers. And unfortunately, the prevalence of pet bird scammers online seems to have increased dramatically as of late, but there are certain steps you can take to avoid that happening to you. So let's get the ball rolling and look at how to avoid becoming victim to online pet bird scammers. What I'd like to concentrate on in today's video is arguably the main source of where you're most likely to encounter bird scammers online, good old Facebook. The reason for that is because scammers know it isn't policed effectively and there's generally no significant comeback for them. But how does such a big company allow scammers to go largely unchecked, I hear you ask? Well, the simple but unfortunate truth is, they don't care. The mere presence of human activity drives traffic to the site and makes Mr. Zuckerberg a boatload of money in the process. Try to get a scam page removed and you'll more than likely receive a message they pretend a human sent saying it doesn't violate community standards. So we need to educate ourselves, and in doing that we become better placed to fend off the scammers and avoid becoming the next victim. So where do we start? Well, first off, we need to realise how it usually works. Let's say you've put a request out on one of the many pet bird pages for local breeders to get in touch with the birds they have available. Scammers will be hitting you up in no time by reaching out via Messenger, WhatsApp or some other secluded channel of communication away from prying eyes. In there it's just you and them, and that's the ideal place for them to manipulate you and attempt to gain your trust. They'll tell you what you want to hear, they'll offer you exactly what you're looking for, all for an unbeatable price to reel you in, and this is a major red flag. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Red flags raise suspicions, yet some people only see the good in others, and those red flags go unnoticed. But there's one thing most Facebook scammers seem to have in common, and that's being unprepared for the savvy. The thieves, and most thieves are opportunistic by nature. They need it to be a quick process where they're in and out as soon as possible, but when they don't take the time, they make mistakes and they get sloppy. So let's look at how to spot the mistakes and identify the red flags. Now, before we get to the point of engaging in a back and forth with the suspected scammer, there are some things we need to look into on their Facebook profile first, and so this requires a little bit of detective work. Majority of the time, scammers want to be seen as westernised. Psychologically, that helps you to relate to them. You drop your guard way more and it generally doesn't trigger suspicion, which is inherent in most of us when dealing with foreigners and money, regardless of where you come from on earth. As sad as it is, most Facebook scammers are not from westernised countries. It's just how it is. Countries like India, Nigeria and the Philippines are for the most part full of amazing, warm, friendly people, but they're also blazing hotspots for scam networks. So the first thing you're going to want to do is look at the name on the main profile page. Then click on the three black dots on the right hand side. This brings up the profile settings, and at the very bottom is the personalised link. If this link contains a different name to the one on their profile, red flag. However, this isn't always a deal breaker, so bear that in mind, but also be wary of it too. Next, you're going to go back to the main profile page and have a good scroll through. Chances are there's very little information here to work with, but it can still yield things of significant value. If there are pictures on the profile, click on them. They'll usually have likes on there, some may even contain comments, and will likely be from genuine people, but almost always they'll have likes from their scam associates, so make sure you check each and every one. They use this tactic because a picture with likes is more attractive and less suspicious than one without. Remember, they're trying to look genuine and convincing, but also remember, they make mistakes and get sloppy. As we can see in this example of the original profile pic, which is meant to set the tone, there are likes from what turn out to be Facebook friends from Cameroon. And if you look closely, it says Candace Owens updated his profile picture. Now maybe it's just me, but Candace isn't really a common male name, is it? And as this profile user is well known for marketing birds for sale in the US, why are their regular interaction supporters all the way in West Africa? Sloppy work. Again, it's possible this is just a coincidence, but in my experience of dealing with online fraud, this is another red flag. So now we're starting to see a slight pattern of uncertainty. But just to give it more credence, we're now going to look into their pictures. Scammers don't actually own the birds they apparently have for sale. And so if you Google the species they're offering, there's a high chance those pictures they're using will be on the first few pages of Google Images. If they're not, then there are other ways that we can find them. Reverse image search services allow you to see if the same image is available elsewhere on other websites, or even if the original image has been edited. By doing a reverse image search, we can locate where the scammers have likely stole the picture from. To do this, save the relevant picture to your phone, go to Google and search reverse image search. TinEye is a great site and free to use. Click on upload, then add the image you saved earlier. TinEye will locate the image if it has appeared online. As we can see with this example, the image used on the scammer's advert is from another site and was originally put online in 2019. So we can probably agree that the likelihood of this image belonging to the scammer is pretty remote. As scammers are sometimes able to produce these pictures upon request, a good tip would be to ask for a video of the supposed bird for sale and request that the scammer hold up a piece of paper in the video with your name on it. They're unlikely to pass this test, but if they can, don't take that as proof just yet. Another tactic Facebook-based scammers use is completely locking their profile. Here's what that looks like. This is another red flag, and here's why. Let's say you're dealing with a supposed breeder or supplier in the US who has a fully locked profile. I can guarantee you they are not where they say they are. In 2020, Facebook launched the locked profile feature in India, aimed at reducing the country's stalking and sexual assault epidemic on women who were largely targeted through Facebook and social media. As of 2022, this was rolled out to Afghanistan, Egypt, Iraq, Myanmar, Morocco, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, Sudan, Turkey, UAE, Ukraine, and more recently New Zealand. It is not available anywhere else in the world, so if your scammer is claiming to be from the US or countries not on that list, they're lying. So if it is locked, they're 100% in one of the countries that I just mentioned. Okay, so now we've exhausted the profile info, there are a couple of other signs or red flags that we can look for. Breeders and even suppliers know their birds. They know the age, if they've molted into their adult feathers, what diet they're on, if they're a sexually dimorphic species, if the parent raised, the genetic makeup of the bird's parents. There are lots of questions you can ask, but scammers will not be prepared for that. Another thing I personally feel is hugely important, do they ask you questions? Good breeders care who their birds go to. If they don't ask you any questions, I'd file that into the red flag pile along with the rest. And last but by no means least is payment methods. Scammers don't want to leave a traceable transaction history that leads back to them and gives you a path to claiming your money back. They'll suggest using Cash App, Zelle, MoneyGram or Western Union, even bank transfer. These payment methods do not offer you any protection. Companies like PayPal and Alipay, as well as most other major credit cards, offer consumers buyer protection by allowing you to claim your money back if your purchase doesn't materialise. So if the scammer doesn't offer a payment method that offers buyer or seller protection, big red flag. Also worth bearing in mind is if they do take PayPal, but they ask you to pay via the friends and family function. This forfeits your buyer protection, so always use the goods and services function. This will ensure you're covered if anything goes wrong. I understand we all want to save money where we can, who doesn't? But sometimes that saving just isn't worth the risk. Scammers do not care about you or the heartache and distress losing your money would cause you or your loved ones. They have no conscience. If you're the kind of person that wants to see the good in everyone, just be mindful that there are people out there who are waiting in the wings to exploit that kind-hearted disposition of yours. I really hope this has been informative and helpful for you.